All right, today we are diving into global trade, but we're doing it specifically for the businesses that are, let's be honest, the real backbone of our economy, small and medium-sized enterprises. We're going to lay out a clear, practical roadmap for how a local business can find the right partners on the other side of the world and truly become a global player. First, let's start with a number that really puts all of this into perspective. A whopping 90% of all businesses on the planet are small and medium-sized. Think about that. They aren't just a small piece of the pie. They're responsible for more than half of all jobs worldwide. So this isn't some niche topic. We're talking about the very engine of global commerce. Okay, so if SMEs are literally everywhere, why does it feel like finding a good, trustworthy international partner is like searching for a needle in a haystack? It's a huge disconnect, right? And it's locking up trillions of dollars in potential trade. Well, today, we're going to find that needle. To solve this puzzle, we first have to understand the pieces. Let's break down the most common hurdles that stop great companies from taking that leap and going global. You see, these 5 challenges aren't separate issues. They're like a chain reaction. It all starts with something called information asymmetry, which is just a fancy way of saying you don't know who's legit and they don't know if you are. That creates a credibility gap where buyers just stick with the big, famous brands they already know. If you manage to get past that, you slam into a wall of compliance complexity, all this confusing paperwork and foreign rules. It all makes building trust incredibly slow, which ultimately puts you in a weak negotiation position. You end up having to agree to risky deals just to get your foot in the door. But here's the good news. There is a way through this maze, and the answer isn't just random networking or hoping for the best. It's a structured system called strategic matchmaking. This is about moving from just hoping for a connection to systematically building a great one. And let's be super clear here. We are not talking about some casual intro service. Real buyer-seller matchmaking is a structured process. The entire goal is to check everyone's credibility and slash the risk right from the get-go. Think of it as a system that completely replaces that slow, expensive, and often painful process of trying to build trust from scratch. Yeah, a real matchmaking program is so much more than just swapping email addresses. It covers the entire life of a deal. It starts with targeting the perfect partner, not just any partner. Then it's about qualifying and verifying them. After that, it helps you get aligned on the commercial terms, supports the actual transaction, and this part is so crucial, it helps you manage that relationship for future business. So we've talked about the what. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's walk through a practical 10-step workflow that any business can actually use to find and lock in those global partners. Now, this first half is all about doing your homework. And get this, you don't even make contact with anyone until step 5. It all starts with you, with a sharp professional company profile that people can actually verify. Then you define exactly who you're looking for, your ideal partner. From there, you build your lists and do your due diligence to screen out any red flags. Only then, once all that work is done, do you make a structured introduction that's designed to get a fast, clear answer. The second half is where the rubber meets the road. This is all about executing like a pro and building for the future. Step 6 is where you make the deal real with samples and super specific specs. Step 7 is all about smart negotiation, protecting your bottom line. Step 8 is the golden rule. Get absolutely everything in writing. But you're not done. Step 9, the follow-up, is how you build the trust that leads to more business. And finally, step 10 is about using data to turn that one single order into a powerful long-term partnership. Of course, with big opportunities come big risks. It can feel a little scary, I get it. But the key thing to remember is that the most common risks are almost always predictable, which means they are also manageable. Let's look at how a system like this can shield your business. Just think of this table as your risk management cheat sheet. For every big fear, there's a practical, real-world solution. Worried about fraud or fake buyers? You use verification, you ask for references, and you set up smart payment terms. Concerned about quality disputes? You lock it down with detailed specs and samples. And the big one, not getting paid? You can manage that with safer payment methods, maybe starting with smaller trial orders. The main takeaway here is that for every risk, there's a proactive solution. You don't have to go in blind. So as we start to wrap up, let's zoom out a bit. Moving from local to global isn't just about following a checklist. It's really about a fundamental shift in your mindset, adopting a philosophy that's built for sustainable, long-term growth. And this quote from MD Joynal Abdin just hits the nail on the head. He said, "For SMEs, buyer-seller matchmaking is not an extra service. It is a growth discipline." That one word, discipline, that changes everything. This isn't something you do once, it's a core skill, a business muscle that you build and strengthen over time so you can compete and win on the global stage. So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking back at that 10-step framework, what is the very first concrete action your business can take, maybe even today, to start building its own global growth discipline?